Right now, on to the point. Counting down to the election. Both presidential candidates starting to make their closing arguments tonight. Plus, security changes at a local election office. How they're keeping staff safe.
Weather impact alert days back in the forecast, tracking our first widespread rain and snow event in the forecast.
Governor Newsom awards more money for housing and homelessness. What this means for our area.
Good evening. As always, thank you so much for joining us on To The Point. I'm Alex Bell. We are just 1 week away from the November election, and both presidential candidates are starting to give their closing arguments. Vice President Kamala Harris laying out her plan in Washington, D.C. at the Ellipse. This is the same spot where Donald Trump spoke before the riotous January 6th Capitol attack. Harris focused her speech on trying to unite the country.
It is time to stop pointing fingers. We have to stop pointing fingers and start locking arms. It is time to turn the page on the drama and the conflict, the fear and division. It is time for a new generation of leadership in America.
At the same time, former President Donald Trump held a rally in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Trump under fire this week after several speakers at his rally on Sunday night in Madison Square Garden made racist, misogynistic, and crude comments. Trump has tried to set himself apart, rallying voters and touting his first term.
We're going to win big. We had the best economy in history. We're going to make it much better than even that. We're going to bring all these companies that left us because of stupid politicians on our side. They allowed it to happen. They're all coming back, either that or they're going to have to pay tariffs like they never had to even think about before.
Trump has rallies planned in North Carolina and Wisconsin tomorrow. Harris will also be campaigning in those two states and Pennsylvania. According to the election lab, more than 51 million Americans have already cast their ballots. But tonight there are growing concerns over security. The FBI is now investigating fires at ballot drop-off boxes in the Pacific Northwest. Investigators say incendiary devices caused the fires, damaging hundreds of ballots. It's also believed the arsonist is tied to at least 3 ballot box fires, 2 in Portland, Oregon, and 1 in Vancouver, Washington. Now, election offices across the country, including here in California, they're on high alert. Earlier this year, To The Point sat down with the Yolo County Election Office, where the Registrar of Voters announced some remodeling ahead of the November 2024 presidential election. So tonight, I take you inside to look at some of those changes and how they're keeping their staff safe.
Local election offices.
Since the 2020 election, we have seen an unprecedented spike in threats against the public servants who do administer our elections.
Have become targets.
Votes get counted in a fair and just way.
What I've seen is threats to election workers, threats to facilities.
And local offices are increasing transparency for voters, like in San Joaquin County.
We have surveillance cameras on all of our 25 drop boxes throughout the county.
In Yolo County.
Have you ever been threatened or harassed while doing your job?
Folks that have been pretty aggressive in terms of their comments towards either myself or even family members, so it's unfortunate.
Jesse Salinas, the Registrar of Voters for the Yolo County Elections Office, told us back in February they were remodeling the election office to keep staff safe.
And so we're on high alert, and that's true across the state. You see registrars that are very concerned. We're having conversations at a statewide level. What can we do to keep the offices and all of our staff and the poll workers as safe as possible during this climate? So we're actually going to have it more enclosed.
Recently, we went back to see the remodeling. We're back again. It's election season. Good to see you again.
Good to see you as well. Welcome.
The front looks so much different than it did last time we were here.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? We have plexiglass that we've added, a new countertop that's much more inviting, and even the lobby is opened up quite a bit.
The swing door now secure.
And now you can see we actually have a secure door that is completely locked up, and you have to actually have a badge.
The front counter enclosed.
So prior to this plexiglass, there was just an opening, and there was security concerns that had been brought up not only throughout California, but nationwide. And so we knew that staff wanted to feel more secure than they were.
There's even been a few changes in the back.
There used to be a wall along this section here, and it actually enclosed this area We knocked that wall down to be able to make sure it was more open and inviting for viewers who want to come and watch our process.
Part of their preparation for any election office includes working alongside local law enforcement, the FBI, Homeland Security, and a number of agencies statewide.
We've got an infrastructure in place to make sure that we're ready.
And how has the staff been with all of these changes? Have they been receptive?
Actually, they were pretty excited about it. We made sure that their health and well-being and safety was a primary concern for us, and we wanted them to go into this election having confidence that we were taking care of them and that we were doing everything possible to make sure that they were safe and secure.
His message for voters during this election:
probably the most critical thing, I think, is that it is going to be a close election. Also, I ask people to be patient because the certification won't actually take place any sooner than December 3rd. December 3rd is the earliest you'll be able to actually certify the election. So that is a key date that I want folks to keep in mind. So there is a process. Be patient with your registrars as they go through the process.
Now, coming up later in the show, we're taking you behind the scenes of the Sacramento County Elections Office to see how the vote counting process works and what election officials are doing to keep your vote safe. In other news, the man convicted of attacking the husband of former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi with a hammer has been sentenced to life in prison in a state trial. David DePape was sentenced early this year in a federal trial to 30 years in prison. DePape's charges include aggravated kidnapping, first-degree burglary, and also false imprisonment of an elder. The mother of a 4-year-old boy who shot himself in South Sacramento made her first court appearance today. 26-year-old Letitia Walker was arrested and booked on numerous charges on Friday after police responded to the shooting in a shopping center on Mack Road. This is video from scene on that day. But today in court, the judge denied cameras and Walker was appointed a public defender. As far as her 4-year-old son, Sacramento police tell us that he is in stable condition and is expected to recover. The effort to end homelessness continues tonight as Governor Gavin Newsom announced more than $827 million in new state investments to help create housing and also support those experiencing homelessness. ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen joins us in studio tonight to explain what this means for the greater Sacramento region.
Alex, that $827 million will be spread across various counties and cities, including Sacramento, Placer, and the Yolo County regions. Now, the governor focused on accountability and transparency today, and lawmakers tell ABC 10 they're going to hold him to that.
We announce the distribution of $827 million to 37 jurisdictions throughout the state of California.
On Tuesday, Governor Gavin Newsom announced new grants as part of the state's Homeless Housing and Assistance Prevention Program, or HAP, providing communities with support by creating permanent housing, rental and move-in assistance, and more.
We also now have a new template that we put out as it relates to prioritization of encampments, health and safety, 48-hour notification minimum, and expectations as it relates to service connections.
The Sacramento region will receive $53.21 million, with San Joaquin and Stanislaus County regions getting $14 million and $5.89 million, respectively. But there are conditions to the money.
Expectation and reporting that would no longer be put at a quarterly or biannual basis, but at a monthly basis. An expectation that the rules and regulations that are well established in contract templates throughout this state as it relates to being in compliance with state rules, housing rules.
Back in April, an audit showed the state spent nearly $24 billion on homelessness and housing over a 5-year period, but lacked data on its effectiveness. Republican Senator Roger Nilo was part of the bipartisan effort to get the audit done.
Hopefully, he has found the value of accountability, but if past is prologue, at this point, all it is words.
While Senator Nilo credits the state for getting people housed, he believes the long-term solution is not housing.
They don't seem to be doing a good job at addressing why people became homeless in the first place, addressing those issues through counseling or otherwise, and getting them to self-sufficiency. From dependency to self-sufficiency.
In line with the announcement, the governor believes housing and supportive services will solve the homelessness crisis. Now, the governor did add today that Sacramento did see a reduction in the unsheltered population last year. This is the 5th round of this type of funding, with the 6th round approved in June, which will be an additional $1 billion to come.
Jeannie, thank you. Still ahead, keeping your vote safe. We take you inside a local election office to see how the ballot counting process actually works.
We are tracking a big system coming in. This just opens the door for more wet weather ahead. I'm timing it out with the updated totals as well.
Plus, new details in Menendez Brothers case, what their attorney says he'll ask a judge for. Welcome back. October is quickly wrapping up and there is already snow on the ground. This is video from Palisades, Tahoe after a short snow shower yesterday. A beautiful sight. And Monica, we know that more is on the way, right?
Yeah, I'm just wondering how long that beautiful color is going to stay intact with some of these storms that are going to be rippling on through as we start to track it all. We've got weather impact alert days ahead. Now, it's going to be kind of weird timing. Wednesday night, Thursday morning, we get a break for about 36 hours, and then the next wave comes through late Friday through early Saturday. Snow, rain, and travel will be impacted with the need to monitor the forecast, especially if you have travel plans. Today, beautiful. We have the sunshine and temperatures warming nicely to near 70 in the valley, 60s in the coast, right around 60 for the foothills, and 40s after that snow for the Sierra. Here comes the next wave of wet weather. This one shows more promise in bringing measurable rain to the valley. As you can see, the first band of rain starts to move our way late Wednesday, early Thursday. Hangs on in the Sierra a little bit longer, and that means for trick-or-treaters, be prepared for some snow flurries up there. For the valley, we should be pretty good for all the trick-or-treaters. As we head into Friday, now again, Friday night football looks okay, but it's during the overnight hours that the biggest rain comes through, and snow as well. Snow will hang on for the Sierra. Rain starts to clear during the afternoon for the valley, but we've got some decent totals coming in with this first wave of about 1/4 of an inch down low. By the time we get the next wave coming through, that's going to bring us closer to about 1/2 inch to an inch of rain in the valley. And as for snow, the first one, just kind of a dusting of snow. The next one that comes through Friday into Saturday, that's closer to about 1 to 12 inches. Highs tomorrow in the 40s for the Sierra, 50s and 60s down low with highs in the 60s along the coast. And we're going to be in the 60s tomorrow. It's a cooler forecast for us. On and off showers in our mountain forecast for the next 5 days. Rain for the foothills and some spotty showers for the coast. The 3-day forecast, again, weather impact alert late Wednesday, early Thursday, and again late Friday through early Saturday. And then wrapping up the weekend as we fall back with dry weather and highs.
Next, on To the Point, new details in the Menendez Brothers case, what their attorney is now asking for, and how the governor is weighing in tonight. Plus, we take you inside the Sacramento County Vote Counting Center to see how they're working to keep your ballot safe. Now to the latest efforts to free convicted killers, Lyle and Eric Menendez. Tonight, their attorney says that he's considering asking to reduce their convictions. The brothers are currently serving life sentences without the possibility of parole for the 1989 murders of their parents. Their attorney says he plans to get their conviction reduced to voluntary manslaughter, which could result in them walking out of prison immediately. It comes after the LA district attorney recommended the brothers be resentenced last week after examining new evidence. If the judge agrees, their case would still require the sign-off of the California Parole Board and the governor. Newsom weighing in on his weekly podcast, Politickin'.
What matters are the facts. What matters is justice and fairness, not treating them any worse because they're celebrities, not treating them certainly any better because they're celebrities.
The Menendez brothers never denied killing their parents, but insisted they acted in self-defense after claiming they suffered years of sexual abuse at the hands of their father and feared for their own lives. Their attorney says once a judge is chosen, he will decide whether to file to recall their original conviction. Politicians have a long and storied history of criticizing or even attacking the way elections run, and it's been persistent theme since the presidency of Donald Trump, particularly since he lost his race for re-election back in 2020. Now, local election offices have had to tighten their security, but they are also trying to show voters that they're open. Sacramento County is opening up its vote counting center for public tours, and ABC 10's Brandon Rittiman joined one so you can see exactly what happens.
Welcome to the place your ballot goes. Sometimes our cameras get special access to give you a peek behind the curtain, but this isn't that. You can come on down here yourself.
Think of it like an adult field trip. You could go out, learn something new, find out what happens to your ballot after you've cast it. We're constantly trying to educate voters on what happens with their ballot. There's a lot of information out there. There's a ton of misinformation out there.
To debunk the myths and ease concerns, the county opens up the vote count center to public tours. Our tour wasn't very full. It was just us and a state government analyst watching these ballots come in.
Our job is election integrity, and we're making sure every voter only gets to vote once.
To keep your votes secret and safe, ballots have to be handled by 2 people minimum. Workers take the ballots to a special room in back.
So this is our industrial mail sorter. It can scan about 30,000 to 40,000 mail pieces per hour. So in a given election, depending on the turnout, we can expect to scan about 1.5 million scans through this machine. So we keep her very busy.
The ballots shoot through this machine twice. First, to scan your signature on the outside of the envelope so the election workers can verify it.
All of our permanent staff are trained by a retired forensic FBI document examiner annually, so we all receive that training, and then we train our temporary staff in the things that they're looking for.
The workers typically reject a little more than 1% of the signatures, and the county contacts those voters to help them verify. Ballots with good signatures on the envelopes go back to the machine for sorting. We have so many cities, fire districts, school districts, and the like in Sacramento County, they have to print 185 different versions of the ballot.
Because my next door neighbor and I have the same ballot, but mom across town has a different ballot than I do.
Yep. Right. Exactly.
The machine sorts and bundles those different versions together.
Everything stays by voting precinct. So this machine is incredibly important, and if we didn't have this machine, there's really no way we'd be able to do this by hand.
Election workers use another machine to help pluck the ballots out. Your name and signature stay on the envelope. Once the envelope's gone, there's no way to tell who any ballot belongs to.
Even in our system in the office, we don't know how people voted, so we never know that.
With the envelopes gone...
So this is our ballot tabulation room. This is the most secure room in this building.
The tour doesn't go in that room. We only get to look through the windows.
Nothing's connected to the internet. It's never connected to any other network.
The security is to protect the integrity of the results, but also to keep election results from leaking early. People started sending their ballots in early October, but by law, the results aren't allowed to be added up until the polls close on election night.
So even though we start scanning maybe a week or so before, we don't know how any race is looking. We don't know what the results are.
Yeah, like the information in these machines is actually prized information,
yes.
Right?
So even we cannot look at that. We can't run it, we can't know. So the very first time that's run is about 8:15 on election night when we report for the first time.
You can help by voting early. More early votes means more results already loaded when the polls close, means clearer results on election night.
Also, just don't drink coffee near your ballot.
Oh yeah, and don't mess up your ballot. If you spill on it or you make weird marks other than clearly bubbling in your vote, a 2-person team has to fill out a whole new clean ballot by hand and send it back for your vote to be counted. If you want to see all this, come on down. The county will keep offering 4 tours a week, even in the weeks after Election Day, while the results are audited and certified. Brandon Rittiman, ABC 10 News.
If you're looking for more information about things on your ballot, make sure you head over to the ABC 10 Plus app. There you can find explainers on all 10 ballot propositions and top races, including the Sacramento mayoral race. And make sure you stay with us, because after the break, we're going to show you what we're working on for tomorrow. Coming up tomorrow, on To The Point, it is harvest season for a lot of California crops, including cannabis. So we're heading out to Sonoma County, where a strict process for growing cannabis is underway, how it all works, and what changes growers are calling for. That is tomorrow at 6:30, right here on To The Point. As always, thank you so much for spending part of your day with us. If you have something that you think we should be looking into, make sure to reach out to me and the team. And just so you know, strangers are just people we haven't gotten the chance to meet yet. So take the time to get to know someone. And To The Point does not end here. To watch stories featured on our show, make sure you download our free ABC 10 Plus app wherever you stream. Have a great night, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow. Hey, it's Alex. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. The To The Point team and I love hearing from you, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. And don't forget, you can always email me and the team at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send us a text message at 916-321-3310.